But joining us now is the man who helms, along with his Sundance kid, Freddie Barnes, the best magazine in America, or at least my favorite. Every time I get it, I get a smile on my face. It always has the best cover work. And when you get beyond the politics, and by the way, the scrapbook section up front, folks, is what the Onion aspires to be and what the Lampoon used to be. Deadly funny. The articles, always informative. Then I get to the books and arts section. I always learn something in here, be it from John Podhoritz's My Favorite Movie Reviewer. And this time through, I read about a philosopher I was not hip to. I am not that schooled in certain areas. And this Montaigne guy, there's a great article on him saying, what if when I'm playing with my cat's playing with me and stuff like that. And the best thing was a heartbreaking piece by a cat named David Rubenstein. You must read this, folks, called Fat City. Tenured prof in the Illinois system, and one who's off the reservation and talks about all the stuff he's been given being a professor, and it's just mind-bending how self-revelatory it is. Anyway, it all goes to put together. It's called The Weekly Standard. It's the best magazine in America, and this is the editor, Bill Kristol. Bill, welcome to the show.
Good to be with you, Dennis. You're my favorite reader of the Weekly Standard.
Well, listen,
you read it with the greatest care and attentiveness and wit, and you say the nicest things about it.
Yeah, the product is
What's not to like? Yeah, the check's in the mail, of course.
The product is stellar, baby. All right, I kind of agree with you. I think this whole thing about preordained, this is such a situational election, because I have a feeling at this time next year, if certain conditions aren't met by Obama, you could run Arnold against him and maybe win. If certain conditions are met by Obama at this time next year, you're not going to budge him out of there. So I'm not sure the guy's in the race yet, or the gal, right?
No, I think that's right. It's so early, and of course Obama could be strong. I think more likely will be moderately weak, probably not, a pushover, but I don't see that the economy is going to be terribly strong. I don't think people will think his foreign policy is a huge success, and beating up Israel has really paid dividends and all that. So I think he'll be beatable, but I had that exchange with Juan Williams on Sunday where Juan, echoing, I'd say, the establishment on both sides, really, inside the Beltway. This is the field. You got to raise money early. You got to have your organization. You got to talk to the county chairman in the suburb of Dubuque. If you don't have him, if you haven't had 5 cups of coffee with him by Labor Day, you're never going to have a chance. I just don't think that's the world we live in anymore. And it's funny, I got a bunch of emails this morning from people who watched the Fox News Sunday saying, activists saying, I'm engaged in local fights here. I'm not focused on the presidential race until at least Labor Day, maybe till Thanksgiving or Christmas. I got other things to worry about. I'm going to watch these guys in debates. I'm not going to make up my mind based on one article in some newspaper, So I think people's attitudes are maybe they were. I don't know if they were always this way, but my sense is this year people want to take a look at the candidates. They're open-minded. On the Weekly Standard cruise, it was really striking. These are very well-informed readers of the Weekly Standard like yourself, and they know about the candidates, but they want to see more of them, and they want to see if any new guys get in the race.
Yeah, and I also think Barack runs. I can't believe it hasn't happened. I almost think it's Stockholm syndrome. But when I think about the intelligentsia in Manhattan, the Jewish people who are so behind him, I always think, well, aren't they going to body snatch out of this one morning and wake up and go, wait a second, I'm in the diaspora, and this guy is asking my guy to roll it back to 67, and I'm nodding over a gimlet at a party and saying, we're smart for doing it. We're not smart. And I think that's going to catch up to him at some point.
A lot of my fellow Jews are not, I don't know what, they're not politically smart. What's the famous line that Saul Bellow, I think, told this story, he brought all of his brilliant Marxist intellectual friends over in the 40s in Chicago to his grandmother's house, I guess, and they were brilliant conversation for 3 hours, and when they left, and his mother said, your friends Saul, they're smart, stupid. And the Jews are smart, they're intellectual, they're lawyers, they're doctors, very stupid about politics, and stupid if they care about Israel. Now, some of them don't. If they care about Israel, the idea that they're supporting President Obama over a Republican Party, which is much more strongly and instinctively and fundamentally pro-Israel. I mean, I'm not saying they have a right to support whatever they want, but they should at least have to explain that instead of just wishing it away.
Yeah, because I'm not even of the faith, and I sit out here and I go, it's not even enough for the Fareed Zakarias of the world to, and I'm not saying he's Jewish, I'm saying right. Not only is Netanyahu supposed to eat that next week, he says, thank you, can I have another? Zakarias, right. He's disappointed he didn't step up and thank the president for that.
I think Obama was shocked. It was pretty impressive what Netanyahu did in terms of just speaking back to him, in effect, in the Oval Office. But I think Obama's had such an easy course, honestly, in life has been so deferred to, and God, he surrounds himself with sycophants in the White House. They all do a little bit, honestly. Bush did, and Clinton, and I don't, it's just the way politics is at some level. I suppose it's the way everything is at some level. I'm sure it's true in the entertainment business and every other business. But I was really struck. Someone pointed out to me, Obama went out golfing after doing the Memorial Day ceremony on Sunday, and he golfs with 3 kids in their 20s who work in his administration, who are gophers basically for him. I'm sure they're nice kids. It's a little weird. You think about it. You're president of the United States. People would be thrilled to come golf with you. You could have businessmen. You could have intellectuals. You could have sports. You could have athletes. You could have interesting people who might be fun to chat with on the golf course. I don't play golf, but if that's what you like, and he likes to golf with people who are just kind of wouldn't dream of ever contradicting anything he said, or wouldn't even be people you'd have a serious conversation with. I mean, it's, I think, somewhat revealing about him.
Well, I don't think he likes to golf with people who might look at him and say, "Really? You don't keep score?"
Yeah, well, that too. Yeah,
you need a minion.
That's always key. I guess I'm not a golfer. I always forget how important that is in golf. Golfing with people who will let you, take that mulligan or not keep a close eye on your score, etc.
Well, listen. Here's the thing about golf: you should hit the ball, and then you hit it into the hole, and in between you count the strokes. And then you put that number. I don't think any of these guys do this when they go out and golf, and I don't think they want necessarily people to see that poker tell, because that's a big ethical poker tell to me. So I understand why they golf with minions at some point. Let me ask you this. Now, I find Timmy Pawlenty to be an agile mind. When he's on this show, and indeed even more so before he announced, he's quick and he's not as cuddly as one would think, and I think he's pretty sharp. And if he's just gonna go out and be Dr. Feelgood, I think he's gonna get destroyed, man. I think we need somebody with rhino skin. I look at Bachmann and Palin, and I think, listen, those two. If we got to send warriors out, those two are coming back on their shields or carrying their shields. They're tough days.
We just had an editorial meeting here, and I was saying if you could somehow merge Pawlenty and Bachmann, who are both from Minnesota, obviously. Pawlenty's I agree, intellectually adept and impressive, really. And I think it was good that he went to Iowa and said he's not going to support ethanol subsidies. He's going to phase them out. I was a little shocked that Romney went to Iowa, and really the first thing he wanted to say in Iowa was, "I support the ethanol subsidy." I mean, is that really the image he wants, of just pandering, really, to every state and every interest group? But anyway, if you could somehow merge, I mean, Bachmann is probably not really the right person to be president, but it is impressive just how tough she is and how she goes to the heart of things. And if you could get a little bit of Bachmann into Pawlenty or vice versa, that would be an interesting, interesting candidate.
I don't understand Chris Christie's reticence to some degree, except I never understood Mario Cuomo's either, and I always assumed somebody had a dime they were going to drop on him at some point.
I don't know, but I agree. It's a little mystifying. I can't believe between Christie, Perry, Paul Ryan, I don't believe they'll all stay out, and I rather think even a couple of them could get in. I think Perry's, I don't know Perry much. I mean, he's been a pretty successful governor of Texas, it looks like, and is popular with Tea Party activists. And I think he's the type who doesn't care what the establishment media say. Ryan's obviously terrifically impressive and young, but I think would be up to it. Christie, very impressive in his own way. I just hope for the sake of the debate and the party, even if they don't win, that one or two of those guys gets in.
Listen, my dream is for Ryan and Obama to be on a stage in a debate talking numbers. This whole thing would turn into Andy Griffith in Face in the Crowd, Lonesome Roads, where Obama would just be turned. I don't think he could vaguely keep up with Paul Ryan when they were really crunching numbers.
He's used to people, even on the broader arguments, he's so used to people deferring to him, and McCain wasn't good at this kind of thing, so he sort of sailed through those debates. No, I agree. That'd be great to see. And also, I think, with all the scare tactics that are being used, having someone who will stand up and say, first of all, the scare tactics are phony. Secondly, what's your alternative? We're going bankrupt. What do you want to do about it? Really,
right.
I mean, Ryan, in a way, it's very good for Ryan, and he's an old friend of mine, but I'm biased, but that he's had to go through this last month, and he's going to have to go through the next month or two of being hammered and attacked unfairly. He's a pretty tough guy, but this will toughen him up more and get him used to not just polite debates, Brookings, about, what's the best way to reduce the deficit over the next 10 years, but to the real political fray. Obviously, he's a politician. He got elected. He's gotten elected repeatedly in a swing district in Wisconsin. Still, I think this has been very good to go through this kind of thing, honestly.
Yeah, I love
it. Not fun to be in the middle of it, but good to go through it.
Listen, everybody was pointing out what Clinton said when he didn't know the camera was on in the wings with Ryan. I love the way Ryan handled himself with him. I didn't sense deferential puppy with him. It was just like, he knew the game was afoot, and he's a serious man. That's all I can say. There are people in this country now who run for president, and indeed in certain instances achieve the presidency, who I don't believe are serious men.
Right.
Ryan, a serious man. And
I very much agree with that. Yeah.
All right, Bill. Well, how's Freddie? Where's the boat thing this year?
Well,
Let's
we
plug
took
the
a
boat
cruise
thing.
a couple of weeks ago, and we went to, it was Barcelona to Dover, England, and the highlight was, it was really interesting, actually. A lot of places I'd never been, Seville and Bruges and Belgium, but the highlight was the D-Day beaches. We stopped there for a day in Cherbourg and took a bus and went to Omaha Beach, which I've never been to in Utah, and the South American Cemetery. It's really amazing. Have you been to those?
You know, I have not, and I don't know that I could. I don't know. They might have to carry me off.
Well, no, there is a little bit of that, but it's really great. I mean, I sort of expected it to be moving, but it's just interesting. I mean, it's amazing what happened, obviously, and if you read up about it a little, it's just interesting to see it the way Gettysburg or all these other places are just interesting as a matter of history. But of course, it's also very moving, and it was really great. It really made.
Well, it sounds like a hell of a trip. How do they find out about that? Or is it sold out already? It sells out.
No, the next one I think is the Caribbean in December. I think if you go to our website, there's a little thing you can click on. So. All good things begin by going to weeklystandard.com. You can subscribe. You can go on the cruise. You can, see witty quotes from Dennis Miller that we link to, etc.
Well, I'm telling you, whoever's writing that scrapbook, and I know you keep that on the down low, kills me. So that is Algonquinian. The wit is rapier.
Nice. I'll tell the main author of it, and he'll be very pleased.
All right, Bill, go get him. Weekly Standard,
done.
Folks, best
Great
magazine in America. Give it a tumble, and I kid you not. That is, it comes every week. I love to get it in the mailbox. I guess you can always do these internet things. This is one that you want in your hand. It's fun. It's informative. The artwork amazing. Hits on every level. All right, take a break. Back after this Dennis Miller Show.